Okay, today we are going to make a very versatile, amplified, distorted guitar, and it sounds like this. So even though this patch is quite simple, there are very specific details that we need to pay attention to because the sound can drastically change if you don't do the right thing. So let's go ahead and get started. I suggest if you're a bit confused on the modular synth to watch my series called Understanding the Modular, which goes into almost all the different things that we're going over today. I will be explaining a few things, but if you find yourself getting confused, I suggest going to that video series and watching at least the first couple of them to get yourself down for the basics. So let's get started. All right, let's put a waveform generator. We're actually going to do 3 oscillators here. And then we're going to do an Dadzer envelope. We're going to do a mixer, just a 2-input mixer. Do an oscilloscope here. This is optional if you want. It just makes things look cool so you can actually see what's going on. And then we're going to do 2 saturators. I know what you're thinking. 2 saturators? Are you out of your mind? Yes, I am completely out of my mind. But that's besides the point. I'll show you guys why I do this here in a little bit. Let's plug stuff in. Like I said, if you are having any confusion on kind of what I'm doing, this is just basic stuff that I'm doing here. That's why I'm going to be kind of flying through this. Check out the modular series. Let's open these gates, or put these gates in here. Okay, so here's where things start to get a little interesting. We're going to start doing some FM synth. So this oscillator is just going to go into here along with this one. This is actually going to go back into itself. So these 2 are still being the modulator. These aren't, so each one's the operator, but this isn't the carrier. This is going to be the only carrier. So this is modulating this, but this one is also modulating itself. And then we're going to go out into this. So these are both modulating this in a very unique way since it's going back into itself. I'll show you a little bit of the difference of what that makes here in a little bit.
If you are confused on what's going on, try watching my tutorial on FM synthesis to get a basic understanding on what's happening.
So let's just finish this patch real quick. We're going to go out into the saturator and then back into this saturator. So we're running, is this series or parallel? I forget. It's been a long time since I wired. I used to be into car audio and stuff, and there are certain ways you wired things to get different ohms. I forget what the difference is, series and parallel. Maybe it's parallel. So anyways, let's go into here, or maybe it's not. I don't know. I forget. So now we have a basic. Sounds pretty nasty, huh? That's because it's going into itself. Watch what happens when you take this out. A lot cleaner, right? Actually, I have my controller plugged in. So let's actually go back into this, and I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit right now, and I'll get back to this, why I'm doing that. Still pretty unstable. So now is when we start messing with the different octaves here, and things can get disgusting very quickly. So I'm just going to be playing around with this. So we're going to take this octave down. Almost like a foghorn, right? FM synth. Awesome. So this one's going to go up. So watch how disgusting things can get very quickly. If I just take the semis and just bring it down. See the difference? Absolutely disgusting. Nastiest thing I've ever heard in my life. But watch what happens when we bring it to just 5 steps down. It corrects itself again. And this is due to the ratio, and things can get very complicated very fast. Now, I didn't do good with math in school. Matter of fact, I barely skated by with D minuses in algebra, and I failed geometry twice. Twice! I failed in school, and then I went to summer school and failed that as well. And then barely skated by with a D when I was a junior. So we're starting to get a little bit kind of more of the guitar sound. Let's actually mess with this envelope here. I'm going to take the release. Let's bring it to about right here. Sounds pretty good, but there's usually a natural sustain level that goes down. So if we bring this to about right here and take this to about right here, and if you hold it down, it gives it that natural lowered sustain level after that real sharp attack. So we're actually going to change the cutoff slope of this. So this is linear right now. We turn it to exponential, and that's usually how things in nature are. It's going to make it sound a little bit more natural. Hear the difference? It's a bit sharper with the decay, but also the roll-off of the release is a little bit more natural. So now, watch what happens when we turn up the distortion. Let's turn this down. Now we have a full-on, like, amplified guitar. So if that's too much, you could turn some of the saturator down. It gives it a bit more cleaner sound, and also if the release is too long, you could mess with the release. So if you want a really long release, check this out. I wonder what happens if we take the sustain like this. Let's take the decay all the way up. See, it gives that nasty sound a little bit longer if you mess with the decay on here, but I think this was actually a pretty good setting here. So watch what happens. Let's actually make things just a bit more cleaner. So watch what happens. Remember when I was talking about this? Watch the difference. It gives it that real nasty, kind of harsh sound at the very beginning. But if we take it down, much cleaner, and this is what's going to give you that just different options. We can mess with the attenuators on how much FM is actually going on. So mess around with the different levels and stuff. Also, you could mess with these octaves and the semis if you want. So you get a whole lot different sound. There's a way to make a bass sound. This is a little bit more bassy. There we go. Sustain down, decay like this. So let me show you also another really cool thing that we can do. So let's bring that up to where it was before and make it the guitar again. Whoops. Okay, so let's add a Formant filter on here. Now all this Formant filter does is it boosts certain frequencies that are found when we make vowels. I have a separate video on the Formant filter and how it works. So if we just run this through here before we run it through our saturators, see how we can get different sounds? So notice how you get that nasty gurgle sound afterwards? It's like it's hard to explain, but you can hear it. It's like that glah at the very end. I don't know why this does that, but there's a way to get, if you guys know, let me know in the comments. Let's see here. We can decay the gain on this, and that seems to get rid of it. Let's take this and then take it to however long the release is, and it should get rid of it. There we go. I think the decay, you need to match the decay of this. So if we take it up, this probably will match. Guess not. Very interesting. So if you still hear that little gurgle, just take the decay down a little bit. So you can create all sorts of different sounds with this. One last thing, if we don't need this decay anymore. We can take lag processor. Let's do 2 of them. Oops. And then if we take these and just plug them into here, into the ins of them, the outs are going to go back into the note. And it gives it kind of a cool little effect if we take it down. So if we have them all the way up like this, nothing's going to change. Oh wait, I didn't. Oh, here. This needs to go back in there. Let's turn this back down again. So nothing's changing. But watch this. If you kind of like want a little twang effect. Anyways, just play around with it. So yeah, a lot of cool different things that you could do. I wonder if we change. Just mess around, and then instead of doing this, you could also just run a what's it called? Just a distortion. It all depends on really what you want to do. So just play around. If you like the video, then cool. If not, just give it a thumbs down. And be sure to leave your social security number and your mother's maiden name in the comments. And eventually, I'll see you in court. Cue the music.